Welcome back to the Leach Report. Thomas Beisner from KSTV sitting in for Tom. For today is our final day. He will be back next week. And all week long, you've heard us talking about our documentary, our film we're excited about that we're going to show Sunday night at 8 p.m. It's called Wildcat Forever, the story of Jon Stewart. And if you're not familiar, Jon was committed to Kentucky in 1999. He passed away during a high school basketball game. So the story is about his life, in what his parents and what his family is doing to try to save children's lives in his memory. Tubby Smith, a big part of that. So we're very excited now to be joined on the Cumberland Gap Mountain Springwater Hotline by Jon's mother, Feleica. Good morning, Feleica. How are you?
Good morning, TJ. How are you?
I'm good. You are the only person, aside from the people we work with, who has seen the documentary. So I guess we'll start. What did you think of it when you got to see it?
Wow, it's awesome. I was just looking at another segment of it prior to going on, and I'm still crying. It's awesome. You have done a wonderful job, and I appreciate you and your station.
Well, it's been such a pleasure, and I know we've talked, off the air, getting to know your family and you guys allowing us to do this. It's a great story. One of the things I hope people take away, though, is when Jon passed away, his story didn't end. You are working with the foundation, the Jon Stewart Foundation, to try to save children's lives. Could you talk to tell people a little bit about that and the things you want to accomplish with that foundation?
Well, right now we're working with a couple of hospitals to do some screening, but we're looking to become a little more independent. We're trying to raise the funds to buy our own vehicle because we're wanting to come out of the scope of Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. We've been instrumental in screening over 5,000 children, and about 10% of those children have some form of heart disease that their parents are not aware of. So I applaud that. Mm-hmm. But I think we could do more if we had the money to buy our own vehicle. We have talked to some doctors that are willing to support us, some people that do the echo screening, because we're doing echoes versus ECG. I'm sorry. So we're wanting to do much more in being a catalyst to save lives of our youth.
And if you want to check it out, you go to johnstewartfoundation.com, ways to get involved and learn more about this foundation, because in the film we talk about, Jon, he had been told he had asthma, which was not the case. And without giving away, I guess, too much of the story and what's in there, one part that as I've watched this, and I've seen it so many times, and every time it's very emotional. After Jon passed away, you went on the news. I guess the reporters had pressured you into having a press conference to get on the 10 o'clock news because it was breaking news. And there's a clip in there. It is one of the most powerful part. Just watching it as a parent, as a father, I don't know how you did it. Where did you find the strength in that moment and then going forward to try to do these things, so people don't forget about Jon. They remember what he was.
You know what? Jon loved the media. I mean, that kid loved the media. When the media would come to talk to him, or when he'd see him, he'd be like, they're coming to me, don't you, Mama? They're on their way to me. I'm like, okay, Jon, whatever. So I felt that I owed him that. And, everybody was like, Feleica, you don't have to. I said, no, he would want me to. So I, as my last hurrah for my son, and that's not the only time. I talked to the media many times after Jon passed because they loved him. Right. The people in Indiana and Kentucky loved him. I've talked to Kentucky media. I've talked to Indiana media. I also talked to the media with CNN when it first happened because it was because the basketball team from Kentucky was they were showing such commitment to Jon's loss because he died during March Madness. Mm-hmm. And because the team was, they had their shoes, the number on the shoes, and they had done so many things to show their love for Jon, I was even able to open it up like that. So I thought that was just a thing that I felt I had to do, was to say something in his behalf, because he would have been excited about talking to the media.
It was in talking with Tubby and Wayne Turner and just even, I haven't actually told you this, since we put out the little trailer to kind of preview it, I've been contacted by so many people who play basketball in Indiana, coaches who coached against Jon, people wanting to be involved in this process because he touched so many people. We talked a little bit about his funeral. Coach Smith came. He brought the team. There were thousands of people that came out for that, right?
Yes. Yeah. I greeted people from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 o'clock at night. And when I left, there was still a line out of the funeral home into the parking lot. Yeah, it was such a beautiful show of love from the community. A lot of people came from Kentucky to Indiana for that time frame.
Coach Smith, when we were working with him, he was absolutely. The second I said we're working on this thing about Jon Stewart, it was, what do you need? I'm happy to do it. I know he has been. You guys have a great relationship, and I think in the film the phrase used is divine appointment. You think that he was brought into your lives to be a part of this. What has that relationship meant, and continuing on now? It's been 15 years, and Tubby still being so committed to your family.
I didn't realize how committed he was until graduation time. The time I had forgotten that it would have been the time that Jon was going to be graduating. Mm-hmm. And you showed that in the clip, how they acknowledged us along with the other seniors. That showed me what type of man that we had chose, what Jon had chose to be with, because he wanted for Jon to be a part of that graduation. I didn't realize it would have been the time he was graduating. And he called me himself and said, we want to acknowledge Jon because he would have been graduating now. And I applaud him constantly. He comes here. He doesn't ask me for anything. He flies here. He's a part of our yearly gala that we have. He has been the greatest asset to helping me to push forward in this, even emotionally so. Because he'll call me just out of the blue and say, "Hey, Felicia, how you doing? Are you okay?" Just a great guy.
It's been a process that we have very much enjoyed, and we talked about this last night. I hope people enjoy the film, and take something away from it. But aside from that, getting to know your family, getting to spend time, I cannot thank you enough. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you guys, and we're very happy that you enjoyed the film, and I cannot thank you enough for allowing us to be a part of this.
I don't want to stop here, TJ. You my new child, so we've got to keep on finding something. And our desire is to do things in Kentucky because Kentucky loved Jon as much as Indiana did. I think they even loved him more because they were excited about him coming and playing basketball in Kentucky. So I'm still doing interviews with people. There was a guy that was here for when Kentucky was playing here at the Big Ten that did an interview on me a few months ago. So Kentucky still reaches out. Yeah. They still reach out to me, and I'm so grateful that God allowed, as you said, it was a catalyst. God allowed us to be a part of Kentucky and Kentucky to be a part of us, even if it was just for a short time.
Well, we very much appreciate the time this morning. Thank you so much, Felicia. And we're going to continue to promote Jon Stewart Foundation. Please check it out. They're doing great things. Thank you so much, Felicia.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Thomas Beisner here, filling in for Tom on the Leach Report. We're going to take a break. One more time, JonStewartFoundation.com. I cannot stress enough what a wonderful family, the great things they're trying to do to help kids. Really want to check that out. We're going to take a break, come back with more Leach Report here in just a minute.